is to return to the plate now. Here shortly after noon, Carson Schindler will lead things off. Chris Jones, yesterday's winning pitcher out in right field, will bat second. Reagan Makeda gets the start on the mound, batting third. Will Wallace, the cleanup hitter, followed by Nate Kowalik, Weston C. Bottom third of the lineup, Tate Schindler, Corey Smith, and Justin Reeves. They'll be facing Zach Bassam on the mound, Chad McKinney behind home plate, Eric Berryhill, Trent Shelton, Papa Chisholm, and Josh Anton, the infielders. First pitch strike from Zach Bassam. The outfielders Hunter Smith, Cody Hawkins, and Blake Walker.
You talk about a double play being a pitcher's best friend. Well, not really when you are the pitcher hitting into that double play. Zach Bassam right there hits into the ending double play. Didn't let it affect him. Comes out, throws the first pitch strike of the game.
Here he's facing Schindler, and Schindler, the class historian for Hallettsville's senior class that just graduated. Rounding first, looking to secure a little bit of history and perhaps the third state title for Hallettsville High.
Well, if you heard me say it once, I've said it 100 times. A base hit to the opposite field for Hallettsville. That ball inside, he just keeps his hands in. Drops it into right center.
Hallettsville, 13 base hits yesterday. 16 runs scored on those 13 base hits. As Chris Jones from the left side with Schindler on first. Schindler not running. Pitch off the mark, 1-0.
With the lefty Jones up, you can leave that hole open over there between first and second. If Schindler decides to go, maybe later in the count, give Chris Jones maybe a chance to shoot one in that hole with a ground ball.
Chris yesterday as a pitcher improved to 10-0 on his senior year. He'll go on to play at Mary Hardin Baylor next season. One of the 4 members of the National Honor Society in this recently graduated class of 2013. He's already gotten into school, but he'd still like to be able to add stuff to his high school resume. Perhaps a state championship. It would be the first for the Brahmas since 1997.
This is something you always look back on. I won the state championship at Sharpstown in 1982, and to this day, I still look back on it as one of the finest moments in my baseball career. We just had our 30-year reunion for that state championship last summer, which was pretty cool.
The 2-1. Straight back. And Greg Swindell, a state champion long before he was a world champion. As right now, base runner Schindler being held on by Anton. As Chris Jones, the 2-2, digs back in. Bassam from the stretch, got him.
Hallettsville's going to not go for the small ball. I wouldn't either with the way Chris Jones swung the bat yesterday with 3 for 4. A lot of RBIs, but that pitch by Bassam has him out in front. Nice slow breaking ball.
Zach Bassam, 13-0 this year, has just 2 losses in his 4-year career at Hughes Springs. Runner is going. It's a hit and run. Rounding second, slamming on the brakes after his head coach, Shorty Cook, put up the stop sign. And the opposing pitcher, Reagan Makeda, will now have the courtesy runner after this base hit.
Schindler does a good job right at the last moment because the ball's in front of him. He can see it. It's a hit and run. He's almost to second base already. I think he might have decided right there just to slow up on his own. Maybe a wise decision.
So no surprise, it's Dalton Harrington coming in to run for Makeda. After Harrington ran so often, so frequently for Chris Jones yesterday, including a run scored. And here is Will Wallace. Already has shown off his glove at first last half inning. 2 on, 1 out. Shorty Cook, birth certificate says Calvin. 7th year at the helm of the Brahmas. 16 years overall as a head coach. His first 9 at Yorktown High School. This year assisted by Ryan Barnes and Tim Bridges. He's got his cleanup man at the plate. And Wallace will keep it going. 3rd base hit of the inning. Coach Cook is almost standing at home, sending the runner, Carson Schindler, who gives the Brahmas their first lead in a state championship game. RBI single from Will Wallace.
Will Wallace again going the other way, shooting it over in the 5-hole. Carson Schindler. This is like a slow pitch from Zach Bassam. Maybe another one of those knuckleballs just floated in there, but Will Wallace does a good job of staying on it. Carson Schindler not going to slow down this time. You saw Shorty Cook. I thought he was going to score before Schindler.
And he was almost in the batter's box.
He's still not in the picture.
And there you go. Chance for two. They'll settle for none, and another run coming home. Throw home will not be in time, and a collision will allow runners to advance. With a 2-run lead, Harrington, the most recent, the courtesy runner for Makeda to touch.
Again, right at the last hop, it just takes a tall bounce. Hits off of Shelton, goes into center field. Papa Chisholm grabs it, not in time to get the runner at home plate. For all you young pitchers at home, you don't want to be standing around on the mound when plays are going on. You got to be somewhere it's hard for him to get back behind home plate right there because he was expecting a double play.
That shot you just saw of the catcher is deceiving in terms of the depth to the backstop. Probably a good 60 feet or so.
It's a good ways around here at Round Rock.
When in doubt, go stand behind the catcher to back up a throw.
Or it's somewhere. Don't be standing in the middle of the field when a play is going on. You can always be somewhere. Not just as a pitcher. You saw Derek Jeter do it a few years ago in the playoffs. Why was he there and saved the series for the New York Yankees? You can always be somewhere backing up a base as a pitcher.
Well, the Mustangs are sending Dylan Moore out to the bullpen, and all Dylan Moore has done in the past 24 hours for the Mustangs is throw 7 innings, 91 pitches. And you see the right-hander making his way out there with the backup catcher, Colton Crawley, the freshman. First, they got to figure out the door. Then they need to remember to close the door behind them.
It's a tricky door out there.
Check and check. Now it's Bassam on the mound. Thought he had his own inning-ending double play. Instead, the shortstop's there on a tough hop to Trent Shelton. Just one out and a second runner coming home to score. Will Wallace on third. Nate Kowalik taking an extra bag. And there's no threat of a traditional ground ball double play here. As Weston C. at the plate. C was 2 for 4 as a DH yesterday with a run scored.
Hughes Springs will continue to play the infield, the left side of the infield, kind of at medium depth.
Big cut, but Bassam wins that battle.
I was going to say, you take a risk when you do bring them in of a cheap ground ball getting through and 2 runs scoring. They were willing to give up a run right there for an out.
That's 2 strikeouts this inning now for Zach Bassam for the only 2 outs.
We saw Tate Schindler last night, also a pinch runner a few times. Right now, if you are a pinch runner, it means you have speed. Wouldn't be surprised if he would lay a bunt down. You never know.
Tate came in originally as a runner, but also had a chance to bat for Hallettsville. Today, the starting DH. His brother was the first Brahmas to score this inning. Carson at the top of the lineup. Tate, the senior, headed off to junior college. Carson, a senior as well. This ball pulled well foul. But that got the Brahmas fans excited who are clad in that maroon. They thought there was a chance for a moment there that this might be a 5-run inning.
Hangy, Tate Wabangi. That ball was up in the zone and just couldn't stay back enough. Hit it well.
This is the number 7 hitter. Bassam still having to work out the stretch. Throws over him. If Schindler can keep this inning going, it's Corey Smith, followed by Justin Reeves, the 8 and 9 spots, before they turn the order over to the top to Carson Schindler. And here's the 2-2 to Tate. Close, but the inning continues.
Just a little high. And you've been all over the place. Can't really expect to get that one called for you.
2 in scoring position. This ball will get behind the dugout of the Brahmas. Shorty Cook noting his big obstacle this year, just getting everybody healthy, keeping them healthy.
That would be a big concern for every head coach, anytime.
Payoff pitch, chopper foul.
It's one thing you learn as an athlete, as a player. If you can stay healthy, you're going to be semi-successful, a lot more successful than others, but staying healthy is a key at any level.
Well, he had 3 pitching options, one working back from an ACL, one with a dislocated elbow from football, and another one with tendinitis. Caught looking. Zach Bassam strikes out the side, but he faces 7 batters along the way. And ultimately, the Brahmas, who picked up the run rule shortened ball game last night to reach the championship, have a 2-run lead after 1.